Hi everyone, and welcome to Jane Talks Murder, where I'll be talking about and reviewing an episode of Poirot, Murder, She Wrote, Diagnosis Murder, or Jonathan Creek. Today I'm looking at Murder, She Wrote, The Perfect Foil, or as I like to call it, that time Ghost Rider got murdered. We begin the episode with a poker game. Wow, look at that hairstyle! And there are a bunch of familiar looking faces around the table, as these two keep upping the ante. The hands are revealed, and when this guy cheats, the other guy clocks him one and gets thrown out, while Jessica gets a call about her cousin Cal in New Orleans. And even though she thinks there's nothing to worry about, Aunt Martha insists Jess go and check on him. New Orleans! Johnny checks his safe as Kitty Cat walks in, so he squishes her face, which is interrupted by Gilbert, and Johnny asks if something seems off about Kitty. Gilbert says no, but Johnny insists that Kitty is cheating and wants him to find out who with, while Brad and Rosalind discuss owing Johnny money. He asks her for money, so she gives him an earful and says she'll deal with it, and there is a lot of ruckus. Clown! As Jessica tries to check in, but there's no sign of her reservation. Please focus on this guy and his tiny gun. Jessica tries a bunch of places, but with Mardi Gras on, everything is full, so the cab takes her to go find Cal. Oh, hello. Yeah, you get it, girl. Inside, a couple of people get quite friendly before Jess spots this pirate who goes into another room. Dramatic clock zoom. Oh, it's this guy again, but he's no help, so Jess stops Gilbert, who tells her Cal's costume before being dragged away by Kitty. Rosalind bumps into Jess, but takes off quickly, and this guy comes out of the back room, so Jess looks for Cal and spots him. That's a Jesus I've had enough smile if ever I saw one. But he won't talk to her and goes to bang on the door before pulling out a sword and loudly threatening to kill Johnny. A sound of a fight is heard and Jessica goes to investigate, only the door is locked, so Gilbert busts it down and they find Johnny dead with Cal's name next to the body. Jessica gets on the case right away, peering over sofas and pointing out missing sharp objects until the detective clocks who she is.
I have no intention of interfering.
Bullshit! Edmund, it turns out, is a fan and is pleased she's here, but wonder why she's in such a notorious gambling den, and Gilbert finally tells her information that could help track Cal down. Across the street, she just walks into Cal's apartment, wakes him up, and babbles about the case, before the police come in and arrest him. As is standard, Jess ignores the mountain of evidence and swears Cal is innocent, so goes to talk to him where he explains his financial setup with Johnny and introduces Jess to Mitch, who says he's going to defend him. Rosalind goes to see Kitty, who's changed her hair so much I'm starting to believe she's 6 different people. And this woman is doing so much acting with her eyes. Anyway, vague threats, we'll be in touch. Ooh, is Jess on a date? Get it, girl? But she says she doesn't trust Mitch, and Edmund exposits he got Johnny out of a murder charge, so yeah, he's kinda crooked. Rosalind is on the warpath again, has a go at her husband, and tells Mitch to fix things, before running into Jessica and denying she was at the party. So by the time she goes into Mitch, she has no shit to give, and is downright savage. Jessica's next stop is Gilbert and Kitty, which sounds like the most adorable law firm, and they say Cal was drunk at the party, so they took him home. And the boy that Johnny supposedly murdered was Edmund's son, so he's never been Johnny's biggest fan. Cal calls Aunt Mildred and makes up a story before telling Jess he was at the club that night, but Kitty warned him he knows, which is vague as hell, and Gilbert took him home, so she wants to know who else was at the card game with him previously. Brad and Mitch do shady dealings while Jess and Edmund go on another date and talk about the IOUs from the club, and then Edmund tells her how his son met his tragic end before she recognizes his ring and places him at the party. They bicker over who is the most likely suspect, which gives Jess her usual late episode epiphany, but she doesn't want to tell Edmund. Instead, she gathers everyone together and Kitty says she went into the study and Johnny hit her, and Jess tells Rosalind she saw her come out of the study too, as well as Edmund afterwards. Edmund says Johnny wasn't in the study when he went in, and oh my god, it's literally taken me this long to realize that this guy's name is Johnny Blaze. Jess calls Cal in to help with a little demo where he recreates what happened that night, and they all go into the study where Gilbert is chosen to fill in for Johnny. He looks bored. Edmund says this proves Cal is the killer. Does it? But no, it doesn't, because that's not Cal at all. It's Brad, and furthermore, it could have been Cavett Johnny was trying to write, not Cal. But that's just a distraction, as Jess Jedi mind tricks Gilbert into revealing he knew where a hidden key was, because he wore the costume, because he was left-handed like the killer, and because he knew Cal was Jessica's cousin, which is something she only told the guy in the costume at the time. Kitty was having an affair with Gilbert, which is what she was talking about when she said Johnny knew. So he sent Cal home, went into the study, stabbed Johnny with a letter opener, and then put on a show trying to frame Cal. I don't know what it is about this episode, but it stuck in my mind from when I saw it the first time. That's why I chose to cover it. However, I'm not really sure why. It's a bit of a weird episode. Jess spends a chunk of time yelling at people at a party trying to find Cal, then another chunk of time telling anyone who would listen that Cal is innocent, and being incredibly pushy. There are two clever things about this episode. The first is the trail of clues that you can spot on a repeat watch, but it doesn't detract from the second, which is it could have been any one of the characters. They kept it vague enough that I was starting to think they'd gone all Orient Express, and it was all of them. Brad was shifty, Rosalind was way too aggro, Gilbert and Kitty seemed to be sticking together, Mitch was caught up in all sorts, and Edmund had a massive motive. So really, it could have been any of them. Plus Johnny was a major doucher. The one thing that was clear, however, was it couldn't be Cal. Even if you're not familiar with the show's formula where the killer is never Jessica's friend or family, you know it's not Cal because Jessica does not stop banging on about his innocence, even though all evidence points to the contrary. Jessica badgering people at the party may have been time-consuming, but it did establish the characters, their costumes, movements, and whereabouts. So even though we knew the killer wasn't Cal, it sufficiently shuffled the suspects around so you couldn't pinpoint who it was, and the demonstration with Brad sold the point. But yeah, I'm still questioning why this one stuck out in my head enough to cover it, because I didn't enjoy it that much. We have one victim, Johnny Blaze, who was stabbed with a letter opener by our killer, Gilbert Gaston, for a whole host of reasons, but let's just say Kitty. So there you have it. That was the perfect foil. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, or come say hi on social media. If you enjoyed this video, then please hit that like button, it really does mean a lot, or consider subscribing if you want to keep investigating with me. Alternatively, feel free to check out my other YouTube channels. Thank you so much for watching, I'll speak to you soon, and keep an eye out for clues.